Greetings everybody, and welcome to my 7 Days to Die viewers comments video number 1. And this one is in response to a comment I received on my structural integrity tutorial from INusWeTrust. And they said, thank you, awesome tutorial. No problem, hope it helped you out a lot. And they sent me this image, as you can see, and said, so building something like this is nearly impossible. The second cube that's on the top is moved slightly to the right, has no pillar on the left side where the stairs are. Shame that you can't create binding beams in this game. Okay, so if we take a look at the image in a little bit more detail, you can see that it looks like a regular straight up building, but the very top cube has moved forward and then slightly to the right, as you can see. However, there's no pillar underneath it, whereas in 7 Days to Die you might need one in order to prevent structural collapse. So this is actually quite a tricky build. It doesn't look too complicated, but it is a little bit tricky to get right. Because as you guys know, when you are working with structural integrity, you have to take the weight of blocks into account and how much each of these blocks can support so that you don't risk collapsing your structure. Now, I actually managed to build one, and I've got one in a test world with a skeleton version of it as well, so you can see all the supports and everything. So for anyone who's interested in building something like this, I hope this actually helps you out. Bear in mind, I'm not the best builder in the world, so a lot of the structures I tend to build look like crap, but I did try with this one, so hopefully it's not too bad. Anyway, without further ado, let's hop into my test world and take a look at it. Here we go. Alrighty guys, so we are now in my test world, and as you can see, here is the completed building that I've managed to put together with the unsupported cuboids. So as you can see, this cuboid has no trickery involved. There's no like hidden blocks or anything that you can use for like floating structures or anything like that. None of that has been used here. The entire building and this entire top cuboid has been based on the laws of structural integrity to provide all the adequate support that the building needs. So if we come up here, you can see that it is indeed being supported, so it has been jutted over to one side like that, and it looks kind of bland because it's all made of concrete. But as I said, this isn't to showcase my building skills, it's just to showcase that the structural integrity for this thing is going to work. Now, let's go inside the building, because I do want to show you what it's like on the inside. So I'm going to turn my light off, not break my leg, and down we go. Right, let's head to the inside here. So, on the inside of the building, I've built everything out of the redwood flooring blocks. Now, I'm not sure if these are available in survival mode, but in creative mode, it means that the top surface is the redwood, and then the inside is this nice plasterboard. So if we look, you can see that the walls in the entire building are double layered. So there's concrete wall on the outside, and then there's this nice plasterboard wall on the inside. So everything is double layered here, apart from the windows, which are just single layered. But, you know, they're a weak point and zombies can get into them anyway. So, you know, if you did want to make this a bit more defensive, you could put some iron bars in front of it or something like that, so that the zombie puke and, you know, regular spider zombies couldn't just break in and get to you. Now, we got a nice front room area over here, so I've just done a little bit of decoration to just try out this concept build. Now, it was pretty hard to cram everything in, but I managed to cram a bathroom down here with a sink and everything like that. The lighting was done by the candles, since you can put regular lights in creative mode, but in order to have them turn on, you need a prefab editor in order to actually have that done. Now, this block here is, you'll see, is actually different than these ones here. That's just one of the things that leads into the bathroom. If I left that out, you'd actually be able to see into the bathroom, and it wouldn't look all that good. So let's head up to the middle floor here. So you can see that I built like a kitchen in the middle one, and it looks pretty nice. There's a room under the stairs for a little trash bin over there. Plenty of cupboards and things to store your food, so it's all good. And then round the back here, I have a nice little shower area. So if you have too much zombie blood on you and you want to get cleaned up, then you can go in there and it's going to be all good. Now, I haven't quite finished the top bit here, but just trying things out. This is like the bedroom area at the top, so this will make a good spawning point should you die. And then you have a nice window view to the forest over there, and there's a nice little balcony out here that you can come onto, and it's a good vantage point for shooting zombies, sniping them, and just seeing what's around you. So it actually provides a pretty good vantage point. So if you wanted to snipe from here, you could, but I'd recommend putting some like iron bars in place of these concretes just to stop the spiders from coming up, unless of course you have it lower down the building, but you know, that's completely up to you. Right, so let's go over to the skeleton version, because although you can't see it, this building is actually completely full of trussing. Now, essentially, this building is double layered, so you've got the plasterboard on the inside and the concrete on the outside. Essentially, what I've done is I've made this building again, but I've stripped all the outer concrete off, and I've replaced where all the walls would be with just glass, so you can pretty much see what is on the inside of the building. So let me go down the bottom and I'll show you exactly how it's built. So you can see that for the majority of it, the first two is pretty easy to set up. It's built out of just regular trussing, and it's just a plain old tower, so nothing really special about it. However, when we come into the middle, I'll show you where the trick is to give this top cube the extra support. There's two things that contribute to this. So the first one is, let me come in here. Now, if I come right to the bottom, you can see that there's a layer of glass before I actually get to the trussing, and then there's another layer of glass here. Now, this represents the first floor here. So if we come over to this building here, and let me go down a little bit, you'll see that I'm actually inside the metal trussing blocks. So to hide all these trussings, I've actually made a ceiling part here and then a separate floor part there, and that helps keep the trussing nice and hidden. However, it provides some very good support for the next bit. So if we come over here, you'll see that there's like a pillar here. Now this pillar goes all the way up to this corner of the floating cuboid, because if you don't have that pillar there, there's going to be a lot more weight on this wood, and you risk the actual center part of the building falling down. Once that's fallen down, then this bit doesn't get any support, and nor does that bit right there, and then you risk this entire bit falling down. Now, to add to the support, I've also turned all these bottom blocks into metal trussing, and what I've done over in this build here is you can see that where there's concrete here, if I go up and go inside the blocks, you can see that between the concrete and the flooring is the metal trussing. So underneath this metal trussing in the completed build would be the concrete, and then above it here would be where the floor area goes for the interior of this particular cuboid. And it actually works. Now, another key point about this is it's not only the metal trussing that's providing the support. Now, this building is pretty much on the brink of collapse with structural integrity. It took me a while to get the right configuration of blocks to get it to work, and that's because I tried to just build it out of metal trussing first and then add the glass in on the top, and then it caused this top bit to collapse. So what I have had to do is actually build all the glass and things down here before I then went on to build the top cube, and that's going to be very important in this one. Make sure you build it floor by floor. So if you start with the bottom, build the interior bit first with the trussing, then shell it out with the concrete or the brick or whatever block you want to use on the outside. Do exactly the same for the second floor. Then when you build this trussing layer over here, before you actually build it up, put the concrete underneath it first, so just so you know that it is going to be supported, and then start building it up. Just go very carefully and take it nice and easy, and definitely make sure this corner has the adequate support, and make sure that all these metal trussings are showing through. Now, in the completed build, I did actually substitute. This is where the stairs were here. I did substitute some of these metal trussings for the redwood blocks, just so you wouldn't see that in the completed build, and it did hold up. So as long as you've got your weights right, you should have a little bit of room to play with it and make sure that it looks good as well as functions as a floating cubes house. And overall, the design actually does work. So in answer to your question, it is totally possible to build something like this. You just have to go about it a little bit more carefully than you would. Now, my other recommendation is you don't go larger than a 9x9 on the interior. So on this building, the exterior from the corners of the concrete there to there is 11 blocks across, and then the interior, there are 9 blocks on each face here for the interior part, which gives you like the floor space of 7x7. So it's quite small and it's quite cramped, as you've seen from that build over there. But if you try and make this any bigger, or if you try and pull this cuboid out any further, there's going to be more and more and more weight on it, and you're going to risk it collapsing. Now, I've also made sure that the cuboid up here isn't too high. If I was to build this cuboid any higher, we would risk it collapsing as well. So on that one, as you can see, I've got the completed roof, but don't forget there's also some concrete on there that's providing some essential support to keep the thing floating. So if you don't have that and we start piling stuff on here, you risk it kind of collapsing in. So I would build the roof at the very, very end. So I would do, for each floor, I'd do supports first, then the concrete bit, move to the next one, supports and concrete. When you get to here, do the metal trussing and then put the concrete under it and then start to build the wall around. Then do this one, then do the concrete, and then finally do the roof at the end. And you should end up with something that looks a little bit like this. Although your design is probably going to be tons better than mine. I kind of sound a bit like Neil Buchanan from Art Attack right now. So anyway, in conclusion, that is how it's done, and it does work, so you have no worries about the building collapsing so long as it's done right, and it will look pretty cool once it's finished. I mean, even though it's quite bland, the actual structure does look pretty cool. I mean, you guys are probably just like, oh, it is the worst design in the entire universe. It looks awful. Oh, but, you know, for a guy that doesn't really build much or specialize in building stuff that looks good, I think it functions really well. So that concludes my viewers' comments video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and you got a little bit more structural integrity knowledge to take away from it. So I did try and explain everything as clearly as I could, so I hope this helps. If anyone does want this as a download, then I will include my world save somewhere in the comments. Just let me know if you would like that, and I will provide it for you so you can have this building. I'm sure someone who is a prefab or something could turn it into a prefab or something like that, or just make it look better first before it's turned into a prefab. But I imagine if I actually found this in the hub city, it would actually fit quite well if it's made from some of the more destroyed block. So it could actually work as a prefab as well. So yeah, it looks pretty cool overall. Anyway, guys, as usual, if you have any questions or just want to leave me a comment, then, you know, feel free to, and I will get back as soon as possible. If you would like to be featured in a viewers' comments video and have a question that you think I could do a video on, definitely make me a suggestion, because I love making these videos for you guys, and it's awesome just to share the knowledge around and get some new ideas from you guys. So overall, I've had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So I will see you in the next one, which is, I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll get to it when we do. So until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye!